Warning, this video contains rumors, speculation, strong opinions, and
Welcome back to Midnight Madness. Now, I have something to talk about in this episode, and it's not about the usual. It isn't about a topic that I frequently come back to, but I want to talk about it tonight because it's on my mind, and it's about the boycott, the Warcott, and my frustrations with both the perception of it through maybe like the Collider audience, because I do watch Roll of Two with Mark Fernandez, Mark Riley, and the one thing that I really disagreed with him about and made me angry, the only thing really with Mark Fernandez, is his perception of boycotters, and that's thanks to you-know-who. And then the other reason for my frustration with getting this boycott and Warcott on the get it started going again, because I think we did a lot of good with Solo. A lot of us original boycotters kind of get brushed under the rug and not talked about, and they're writing a book. But the reality is there were people doing this way before the Fandom Menace, and the Fandom Menace never officially did it, but they take credit for it. But that's another story. But here's my frustration with getting it going again for episode 9. And what I've done so far, I'm not here to just make videos. I'm doing it to actually try to change. And it's hard as hell. I'm having a hard time doing it. I also want to point you guys towards, I think we'll try, if we can get this together, I do want to stream with B-Level, Dark Cenobius, and Iron Inquisitor this weekend sometime. I've been promising my man Snowdub that I want to stop by his channel too. And that might be interesting. I don't know how I'm going to do with some bigot puppets in Kermit the Log. I don't know how I'm going to do there. So that may be interesting. So those are the two things I want to work on. I also still want to do a collaboration with Once Upon a Vlog, because I don't know the whole story of what happened with her on Twitter. But I want to talk to her. I think she's a nice person, and I don't know the whole story myself, so that's honestly why I'd be interested in talking to her, getting her point of view of all this. So those are the things I'm working on, and I kind of have to, and I don't take pride in saying this, I'm not something I want to admit, but I gotta be honest with you, I have to go back on my word a little bit about not talking about the review and the live stream and the perception of me being on that stream. I have to talk about it again. It's not something I take pride in saying, you know what, I said this is going to be the final time, and I'm not going to talk about it in this video. I might make a video tomorrow, or I might, to try to get you viewers to go over to B-Level Dark Cenobius, I might wait for that live stream to talk about the hidden benefits, the other reasons, the other things that were positive that came out of that stream. Besides me, there's a lot that think I'm a laughing stock. If I'm the punching bag, but I still go to bat for fandom, that's okay with me. But the reason I have to talk about it again is, and I know what's happening, but in the moment, dealing with someone that's constantly gaslighting is difficult. Especially when you're speaking in the same room with people that don't know the whole story and just are going off what that person's saying. And that person, unfortunately, has a lot of clout on YouTube just because of the subscriber count. So it's a difficult thing. And that's why I have to go back to talk about it either tomorrow or on the live stream this weekend. Because when you're dealing with someone that's gaslighting you, even personally, you start to question your own sanity and start to doubt yourself. And I did doubt myself a little bit after it. And I went back and looked. I'm like, no, you're saying the right points. It's just that the perception is there because you have a big YouTuber gaslighter there. But I'll save that for either the video. I'll explain why. In the other reason it keeps coming up is I'm replying. I like to reply to comments from everyone, even people disagree with me, and a lot of the comments are being, "Oh, you failed right away from the get-go." So that's what I'm going to discuss. But getting back to the important stuff, the other reason I started to go after this type of stuff is because I didn't see that there's any forward momentum on the Warcott or the boycott, and that's still the case. And I like the fandom collective. I've tried to work with Flip and Black Angus and the rest of the founding fathers to get it started there. I kind of think they're still willing to, but I also know a lot of them have some personal things going on in their lives that it's hard for them to get it started too. So that's my frustration there with the boycott for Rise of Skywalker, is getting it going again. I think I had a great idea a few months ago with, unfortunately, merch, the t-shirt, and a third going to the collective, to Star Wars Theory, and a third going to a cancer charity, because that, personally, with family stuff, that's a nice thing for me, even though I'm not taking funds from it. That's kind of grown cold, to be completely transparent. And then, I don't really want to be a leader in all this. I just want to be a commenter, a reviewer, a critiquer of not only the movie industry, of the fandom. See, I'm not just reviewing what's going on with Disney Star Wars, because I think Disney Star Wars, it's pretty much, things are happening, have happened, and we only have really one more statement to make, and that is episode 9. And we need to do our part to make that final statement, the final nail in the coffin, to say, you know what, you haven't done good by the fans, you haven't done good by the property, these characters, and it's not just George Lucas that made Star Wars such a phenomenon. It was lightning in a bottle with everyone involved. I love George Lucas, but I'm talking about all the actors, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, lightning in a bottle that I don't think ever could be recaptured, and we're not doing right by that. We need to do the follow-through. So the other reason I'm so anxious to talk to B-Level, Dark Synovius, and Iron Inquisitor, and others that are upset with the movement of the Fandom Menace is, I think, even though I tried with the Fandom Collective, I'm not opposed to still working with them. I think it's grown cold, and I think the best way to say, you know, going back to the stream, I'm sorry, I keep doing it. EVS said, we're the freaking ocean. They're in denial that there's a lot of people that don't like them. And I think the best way to do that is to form a new group with varying diversity of thought. Even, I think we need to form a new group of Star Wars fans that says we've had enough. I think B-Level and them have been trying to do that, but it's kind of like just into the EU community. I think we need to reach out and make new friends, even though I don't agree with everything they say, because I don't think it's getting better. Still, even with all my efforts, some say I might have fumbled, but there are some hidden benefits of that stream too. So I'll get back to that. So those are my random thoughts about where I'm going, what I'm going to try to do, and my frustrations with getting this boycott started again. Because no matter what the narrative is with the Fandom Menace and what they did to Solo, the reality is the facts don't care about your feelings. Others started it, including some of you watching this, if you're still with me. And we didn't have another agenda just to make Star Wars. Our only agenda was to make Star Wars good and not reward mediocre and not caring about the fans. So I want to get that talk started again. And I think it is time to start talking about it again in plans and discussion. So that's my thoughts. I will either talk about it again tomorrow or on a live stream. And I'm going to go on Snowdub at some point. So we'll talk about that too. I really want to, and the reason this keeps coming up too is Entertainment Hacker has been commenting on my vids. And he kind of says that I was proven wrong right away. And I'm not okay with just leaving it like that. I'm really not. Because it's not the truth. And it's an extensive gaslighting that's been happening. And it's hard to fight against. And that's why I say I'm going to stop, but then I can't. Because the perception is by a gaslighter. It's proven now. So I'll talk about that more. I want to know your thoughts. A lot of you say, let it go, Max. But you can't let it go when you're this close. Oh, the other point I want to say about the boycott, Warcott, in my perception of how it's going is, it's like many people have died, many Bothans have died to get this information to blow up the Death Star. We're all in the war room right before A New Hope when Luke goes into the Death Star trench run. And instead of talking about putting in that proton torpedo to blow up the Death Star, people were talking about, have you subscribed to my YouTube channel? Have you checked out my Patreon? I got some t-shirts. Why don't you check out my fellow friend here? We're writing a book about doing nothing, and then when Luke is in the heat, is going into the Death Star trench run, and he needs Han's help, there's Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers saying, time for another video, and Geeks and Gamers, everything else is irrelevant, and flies off, and you lose. That's my perception of what's happening here. Tell me if you think I'm right or I'm wrong, and we'll hash it out. Those are my thoughts for tonight. And I wasn't going to film a video because I'm kind of tired again, and I was doing something else. But no, I'll get these random thoughts out there so I can keep the discussion going. Let me know in the comments below. See you tomorrow.